What's up, everybody? I'm Kansu, and this is the Crystal Corner. Today is the winter solstice. Happy solstice to everybody. If you are out there and you're excited about the winter solstice, make sure that you hit that like button on this video. Today's video is going to be a little different than most videos. I ain't did one like this before, y'all. But I figured, hey, it's the winter solstice, right? And people be out here getting sick. So I'm going to show you what I do to get rid of that little cooties and sick bugs and all that other mess they got going on right now. Bear with me. I'm trying my best not to curse on here. You know, I prefer colorful verbiage, but YouTube algorithm does not like when you do that. So this is going to be a very family-friendly video, and I'm going to show y'all how to make something called pine needle tea. Now, I've been making pine needle tea during the winter months for years now. Back when I was in college, you know, I had a bunch of roommates and people would get sick, you know, traveling across campus to go to class and whatnot. So I just had this idea, let me go outside and get some pine needles off this tree and see if I can make some tea out of it, okay? This was before I got into the books. I'm gonna give you guys a book too that has plenty of remedies and stuff in it a little bit later on down the road in the video. But my rationale as far as why I decided, hey, pine needles. Well, let's think about it. I live in the northern hemisphere, specifically the state of Ohio, right? Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, all of those states, you know what I'm saying? Though that whole Great Lakes region, you know how cold it is. Y'all know we get snow, even Colorados and the Montanas and stuff like that. You know how it is, okay? And what happens in fall, okay? Let's think about this. The nutrients in a plant, right, come from this thing called chlorophyll, which gives plants their green color. You know what I'm saying? This green color, right? But in the wintertime, all the leaves off the trees are gone. So that would, in my mind, mean that those plants can't provide a particular type of medicine for me outside of their roots. But we have these things up here called evergreen trees, and they're the only thing that's green in the winter, which means that's the only thing live in winter, which means that's the only thing that should be able to help you, right? That was before I found this amazing book. It's called Healing Secrets of the Native Americans, right? And in this book, on page 95, talks about pine. And you see, when I got this book, I wrote a note under here. It says, how did I just know how to do these things? It's because I communicated with my ancestors and they told me, they guided me, and I found a book with a reference. But I'm going to read from page 95 about this plant. I'm going to read page 95 and page 96. You hear a little bit of noise in the background. That is my pot boiling for my water currently. I got a teapot on. For this recipe, you guys are more than welcome to use a standard saucepan or sauce pot. You know, I prefer to make my tea in the teapot itself. You can put the ingredients inside the teapot, but we'll come back to that, right? Back to the book. Okay, so pine. For Americans today, the pine tree is seen mainly as a symbol of Christmas cheer, but pine was once of the Native Americans' most important medicines. They made chewing gum from pine resin, which they found soothing for sore throats. Pine needles were crushed and made into a paste for aromatic hair pulpless headache, right? The bark was used as for such things as wounds, burns, ulcers, and hemorrhoids. Slave made pine resin salves made from pine resin were used to treat sore muscles, joints, and pine tea was a popular remedy for colds, coughs, and upper respiratory congestion. So like I said, this was my thought process, just me being a geographer, going to school and learning about environmental geography, things like that. My thought process was, if it's green, you should be able to use it in wintertime. Well, apparently, they've been doing it for thousands of years. Found it out in this book. Probably will leave the link to the description below, right? But it says, in some cases, the needles were ignited because Native Americans believed that breathing pine fumes could relieve backache. So take these, you throw them on your little campfire, you throw them in your fireplace, and you waft it towards you. like, like in chemistry, when you try to smell something, you waft. So you go like this, you take your hand and you kind of make a fan with it and scoop towards yourself. That'll make the smoke come to you. You breathe it in and it actually eases your back tension. Truthfully, I have a pinched nerve right about here in my back, and this does help for that. I promise you it does. Herbalists continue to recommend pine remedies, often treating upper respiratory problems. Teas made from dried needles may be useful for easing arthritis. Pine baths may help reduce skin irritation as well as anxiety. So, what does that say? There's multiple things you can make with pine, okay? Pine needle bath, definitely great for relaxation. Oh my God, it's so amazing. You get these goosebumps and tingles. I'm getting goosebumps if you can see, look at that. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that vibe, man. It is amazing. But now we're going to talk about the ingredients, how you're going to make this, right? So like I said, you can either use one of these, or you can use, if I can find one, get it on my big, a big pot like this, or just a saucepan, right? No big deal. Whichever one you have, it'll work the best for you, okay? No problem. You're going to need a couple of these sprigs here. We have some dried rose petal, and this is just for body and flavor, okay? We've got some orange peel here. Orange peel is going to be for the vitamin C, the citrus, but also flavor, because I like it, but you don't, or you might not necessarily like just the straight pine flavor, right? So then we have whole cinnamon sticks, okay? I hope you guys are writing the list. We have catnip. Yes, catnip. And if you guys have any anxiety, stress, issues, or, kind of jittery and you just need to calm yourself down, catnip tea, yes, it's for cats. This is like weed for cats, but it's an herb that humans can ingest as well, and it is very, very, very calming for anxiety. I suffered from anxiety in the past, and this is one of the things that definitely helped me manage that, right? So, you've got that. Bay leaf. Anise, star, and a bit of eucalyptus, okay? You're also going to want a coffee filter. You guys can definitely brew this in a coffee pot too. If you have a coffee pot or a Keurig, you make a smaller batch and put it in your little refillable K-cup there. No big deal. This is how I do it. This is me. I like to make mine in my teapot, okay? And you just take these and you put them onto the coffee filter, okay? So boom, I'm gonna flip my camera around a bit if I can figure out how to do it. Okay, forget it. So put a couple in there, right? We're gonna add to it a little bit more, maybe 4 or 5, that should be good, okay? I'm gonna take some of this catnip here, just grab a pinch. There's no exact measurements here. Do it at your own discretion, you know what I'm saying? I take a big pinch, catnip, boom. Take 1 anise star, right? And I take usually about 3 of these little leaflets. If you just take the star and you pull it, they break off. I just take 3. This is very, very strong. It's kind of got a black licorice type scent and taste to it. It smells like black licorice as well. And if you don't like black licorice, you don't have to add it. However, it does act as a soothing agent for your throat, okay? This is the orange peel. This is orange peel. Add a pinch, okay? Nothing too crazy here. Rose petals. I love rose petals, so I'm going to be very, very generous with my rose petals, okay? Boom. That's 2 big scoops. Oh my goodness, it's going to give it such a beautiful body and flavor, okay? We've got the eucalyptus. The eucalyptus goes a long way, so small pinch of the eucalyptus. Try. Bay leaf. Just like if you're cooking beans, you need to crush them up like I just did in my hand, drop it in there. Last thing we're going to need here is a cinnamon stick, okay? Break it in half, put it in the coffee filter. Now that you've got all of that in your coffee filter, look at how beautiful that is, right? Look at that, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take that, a little bit so I don't have that glare, okay? I'm going to take this coffee filter. I'm going to kind of make a little tea bag out of it like this, okay? And then, like I said, this is my method. You guys can follow it if you want. You're going to need a small zip tie. Take this small zip tie. For those of you that like to work around the house and work on cars like I do, you know, zip ties come in very handy for multiple things. Whoever would have thought that you would be making tea with a tea bag. The reason why I make the tea bag like this is because when I put it in my teapot, right, you just drop it on in there. When I put it in my teapot to boil my tea, I personally don't want the pine needles to come out into my cup. So that's a way to make it without you having to do extra straining. And the last thing that I do add directly into the water, this says cumin on here. This isn't cumin, okay? This is turmeric and ginger powder. Turmeric and ginger powder, if you know anything about it, it is very, very powerful in healing. So just add a little bit of that to your water. It will turn the water a yellowish color. And directly into this water as well, I add pure honey, okay? So run it low, as you can hear, but a little bit of honey actually goes a long way. So let's get that in there. Boom. Now, throw that on the burner. Close your teapot up. And when it begins to whistle, like the story goes, tip it over, pour it out into a cup. Let me know in the comments what you think about this tea. Let me know how it feels after you tried it. Let me know how fast you got healed up. Till next time, man, I'm Kansu. This is the Crystal Corner, and I'm going to get at y'all at a later date. Peace.